there is no guarantee that you're going to pitch on that day. My pals were right, and we're just putting them in the basement, we're putting them in the garage, we're putting them in our bedroom.
You can't even go to the bathroom without having a chaperone.
The comment section was toxic,
Yeah.
so toxic. And people just didn't really get that, didn't get the concept.
Yes guys, so welcome to the very first Bootbuddy podcast. Today we thought we'd kickstart and do one in-house. So today I'm joined with Aaron and Gaz. Guys, how we doing? How we going? You alright?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Good stuff.
All good.
Good. You ready for some interrogation?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get this started.
For sure. So we thought we'd put together a little Bootbuddy podcast where we kind of, bring in different people that we want to interview, we want to chat, chat about business, chat about different strategies and that kind of thing. And we thought it'd be really cool to kickstart off in-house. So with the guys who come up with the idea, created Bootbuddy, we thought we'd ask guys some questions and get going. So I think to start with, everyone knows obviously the Dragon's Den story, but we want to take it all the way back. We want to take it back to the start of Bootbuddy. So kind of before Bootbuddy, did you guys ever go into any previous business ventures? Were you always interested in business from young? So what was the whole story behind kind of the whole entrepreneurship kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it started from really, really young. I feel like everybody's got a bit of a story where they started a tuck shop at school. And me being quite old, I think I was still at the start of that, so I'm going to claim the same story. Because we had a shop, what I started doing, I think it was like year 7 or something like that, started just taking cold drinks into school. So my deal was, at break time, you'd get a cold drink and a pack of crisps for £1. And so I think by the end of the first week, I'm going to lie here, but I think we made probably like maybe 50 quid, 60 quid.
Jeez!
Not too bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
Not in year 7 or year 8, I can't remember now.
What were the margins on that?
Well, it was 100%. because
Straight from the shop, straight from school.
yeah, I was nicking the drinks out of the shop and I was nicking the crisp from the house.
Love it.
So I thought that's your, round one seed funding straight from home. Why not? And then as the business started to grow, everyone jumped on it, like everything gets saturated. So at one point it became like Tooting Market or something, because you could come to me for crisps and drinks, you can go to 3 lockers down and get brownies, you go a little bit further up and people were selling people started getting artisanal with this, starting selling croissants and things, or making cookies, and then it all got shut down because everyone got too greedy, and so then I had to move into slightly different venture, which was buying and selling phones.
Okay.
So again, that was a bit difficult because I started selling, the guys that used to work for us in the shop, I would start selling their phones without them agreeing to it to people at school. And they were on contract, so
they were getting a nice little bill at the end of the month.
yeah, so they had a bill at the end of the month, but they didn't have a phone. So
It's a good trade-off.
That is a good trade-off. How about you, Aaron? Anything at school like that?
I mean, nothing as crazy as the buying and selling phones without people's knowledge. But yeah, definitely the same standard thing of just taking drinks from the fridge and selling them. I mean, I didn't really get that adventurous with the crisps. I just kind of stuck to the
drinks.
drinks.
So there was no meal deal section in yours, that was just
I stuck to my line of just drinks, and I sold those. I think the one I sold the most was, I don't know if people still see them about, but there's a drink called Bigger. It's like a Jamaican style drink, and the best flavour I had was a fruit punch. It's like a red drink, and it'd make your tongue go red. So it was really popular because all the flavours would change people's tongues, like the colour.
And that was coveted at school. Like you couldn't get that at the local school canteen. That was like go to Aaron to get this drink.
Yeah, especially because it was so high in sugar. Yeah, the sugar content in that was crazy. So school they weren't too happy when they found out we were selling all these sugary drinks, but it was alright.
Bigger's one of them drinks, you can't even get that in most shops now.
Yeah, it's like so hard to find. I think you might be able to find it in some supermarkets, but
I'm pretty sure it's bottled in Jamaica
yeah,
and imported into the UK.
So Jane wouldn't be too happy with that one on the sugar tax. No.
not quite.
Nah.
So how about from like an academic perspective? Did you guys study business, or was that just something you just kind of fell into and were interested in?
Yeah, for me, we didn't actually have the option to study business.
Okay.
It wasn't actually a course the school offered, and in terms of, was I good at school? Was I very clever? No, not really, to be honest with you. I remember my teachers used to pull my mum and dad in and be like, he needs to really pull up his socks because he is not interested. He's not interested in school, he's not interested in even doing his homework on time. But there were a couple of subjects that I was pretty good at. English was one. The speaking part of it, really enjoyed that. English lit was pretty interesting as well. And up until, I want to say GCSE, after GCSE chemistry got a little bit difficult, but prior to that chemistry was quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. After that, it was just like school wasn't that interesting for me. When we got to university, that's when it all changed because I was able to choose something I really loved. So, started studying marketing and economics, and yeah, that was when I actually fell into something I really liked doing. So.
Do you think that English side of things, like you said, you're really good at speaking English and you really enjoyed it? Do you think that helped build the confidence for business in the future? Now you can have conversations with CEOs and that kind of thing. You just kind of, that's what you enjoy. And
yeah, I think the funny thing with that is I think I was naturally good at the speaking side because when I was younger, I used to work in the shop.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like conversing with people on a regular basis and like with different kinds of people. So I was speaking to builders or mums or like professionals or whatever, just a different kind of array of people. So when I had to go and stand up in front of a class and recite something, it was like, okay, this is really easy. This is like the easiest thing in the world. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's the same with me as well. I think we were kind of from a young age, we were lucky enough to be in that position where you could be put in that environment where you could talk to so many different people at once. So then, a lot of people don't have that chance to kind of really learn how to interact with different types of people.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
are you suggesting that child labour is luck, like just being forced
to work? Okay, he makes it sound like it was that bad. It wasn't too bad. We just stood there and chatted to people. Like, we weren't exactly like frying fish or like taking chips out of the fryer.
Why don't you look at the camera and tell everyone? If we gave anyone the wrong change, that would come out of our non-existent pocket money anyway.
Well,
wow.
But I guess that's our fault. So. Yeah, the customer's always right, as they say in retail. But the thing I'd say is where it varies from like how we went through school. I actually had the chance to do business, so I did business at A level.
Okay.
It was quite an interesting course. I enjoyed it a lot. But I would say the course it's not as kind of like geared towards entrepreneurship and the kind of skills needed to be an entrepreneur. I mean, it's kind of the first topic is literally just use adjectives that describe an entrepreneur, and that's about it.
It's very base level.
It doesn't really give that insight, but I mean it's still a good base, I guess. But so I was able to study that at school. But in terms of academics, I mean, I wasn't really keen on school, but I think. With me, it was a weird one because if I did try, I would do well, but the problem was I never liked to try and I'm still lazy to this day, so it was always that gap of I wouldn't really...
The
thing is, it's the truth because like 9 times out of 10, people are going to have that thing of they don't want to do things immediately or they don't really... they go, I can't be bothered to do it today, I'll do it another day. It was the same thing with like academics.
So you used to procrastinate?
Yeah, just procrastinate and go, oh well, you know what, I don't really fancy revising for that test next week, I'll do it, tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes and then it's the morning of the test and you're panic reading.
You know what, by that point, you might as well accept your fate. I used to do that, sitting on the bus going to our GCSE math, and we're there like, I'm going to get it, I've got 20 minutes to revise. If you're the kind of person who's got a 9 a.m. exam, and you think between 12 and 9, midnight to 9 a.m. is a 9 hour of revision time, and not 9 hours or 7 hours of sleep time, you're screwed.
That's how I got through my GCSE.
Face your fate and resit.
So at this point in time, obviously you guys are still kind of at school, coming out of school, and then what I want to know is that first, obviously, initial spark with the idea for Bootbuddy, and you've obviously talked about that before, but when you kind of came up with this prototype, were you ever thinking straight away, this is a business, or was it just like, this is just helpful for me? Were you ever thinking straight away, this is a great business idea?
Do you know what it was? It was more, oh, the idea is sick. It was never, oh, this is going to become a business, it's going to be this product, that product.
It's just cool.
It was more the kind of idea that, oh, we've actually created something that works. I know that sounds really odd, but I think if people have had ideas, probably know what I'm talking about. Like when you have any idea, random thought, you could think of a product or service, whatever, and when you see that, either a physical prototype or a mock-up actually does its purpose, there's like a sense of pride. Wow, this is sick. And you don't really. I mean, personally, I never really thought, oh, this is going to become a business. We're going to end up doing X, Y, and Z. But eventually, I think definitely when like Gaz got involved and started helping us to develop things into a bit more of a kind of business approach rather than just a kid who's come up with an idea. That's when we kind of started seeing, okay, well, we can do this. We can start creating our own brand and our own business. Yeah.
And Gaz, where did that come from then? So if Aaron had this idea, where did you kind of come in and say, look, this is actually really cool, let's try and make something like this? Was that just straight away?
I think our hands
came all the time afterwards.
No, I think what happened is when we decided to really give it a go, so I think when, like, some people say they're family businesses, this is, I mean, literally, even the naming came from my sister. The branding, I found someone. The factory to make the prototypes, my mum found. He came up with the idea, so it was everybody was involved. Exactly.
Proper family business.
And when it got real was when we decided to. Actually, it wasn't when we decided to order some prototypes. It was when 5,000 of them arrived. 5,000 arrived, and we're just putting them in the basement, we're putting them in the garage, we're putting them in our bedroom, we're putting them everywhere. And then we're like, okay, so instead of like maybe ordering a few hundred and thinking, okay, how are we going to sell these, what are we going to do? We've ordered 5,000. Now we have to sell them no matter what. Like we have to find a way to shift through them. And we made a ton of mistakes. Like we still make mistakes every single day of the week, as you know. Like we come up with ideas and not all of them pan out. But when we had 5,000 of these things sitting in the basement, sitting, just every which place there was a bit of space, they were there. We went and did a trade show, and we thought, okay, look, it's going to be so easy. We're going to go do a trade show. Someone's going to walk on our stand. They're going to say it's a sick product. We want to buy it. We'll stock. So what really happened was somebody walked on the stand. Well, not somebody. A lot of people walked onto the stand and said, look, your product is cool, how much is it? And at that point, we were making them in the UK, we were using a prototyping company, really expensive. So the price at which we were trying to sell them to retailers was the price that they wanted to put them on the shelves. So that was a real problem. So after our first trade show, we kind of walked away licking our wounds going, right, that was great, everyone loved the product, but we can't even put it anywhere. And we didn't want to make a loss on selling them. We didn't want to sell them 5,000 and then go, okay, cool, we sold 5,000, but we lost X amount of £1,000 doing that. So we thought, okay, let's give online a bit of a go. Let's see, can we move these online? Instagram was still very
easy.
Definitely. It was towards the end of 2015, so it definitely was a lot.
As even before video, so that was very kind of early. I mean, video didn't come in until 2016, if I'm correct. So that would be even harder to sell things.
No, wasn't that like the era of like Vine and stuff?
It was
there.
It was Vine. It was Vine. It was Snapchat. It was
that was
their heights.
So what we decided to do was, we thought, okay, let's make an Instagram page. Let's see, is anyone in the football community interested in this product? Anyone interested in the product, full stop? And we got a bit of traction, we got followers, but as you know, followers don't equate to sales.
Absolutely,
and likes don't necessarily equate to sales. So we thought, okay, this is cool, but we can't just keep posting about the product, and not that many people are converting and buying it. So we thought, okay, let's make a video. So I grabbed a just video camera, and he cleaned a shoe, cleaned a boot, and yeah.
I think that was our first video.
That yellow boot, we
That-
still use it today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Mercurial,
the one that Neymar won, the World Cup, the gold ones.
Yeah.
Those are my pride and joy when I used to play football. I love those so much. Yeah, very rare now. But literally, I think that was our first ever time doing that video. And we did it in one take.
We did it in literally, one take, made the video, put it on Facebook, boosted it, so that's how long ago this was. We boosted that video, and then we started moving through our stock. And then we thought, okay, great, we're moving through the stock. Now it's a case of what the review's going to be like, what people are going to come back and say.
Yeah.
That's when it gets nerve-wracking, because moving and selling is one thing, but having people come back again or recommend it to a friend, that's another thing altogether. So when the reviews started coming back, they were really good. People were like, oh, love this product. And we thought, okay, that's a good start, but will they keep on saying that? So you keep on kind of doubting yourself, you know. And I'm happy to say that, people love the product. Don't get me wrong, the comment section was toxic, so toxic. It was, might as well use the showers, might as well clap them together, might as well use a hose. And people just didn't really get that, didn't get the concept. So we had to kind of go through that learning curve to change the way people think and to change the way people clean their muddy boots at that time.
So was that then taking a step back and saying, look, so our idea is you fill this up before you go, you put this in your bag and you use this straight away? Was that kind of what you were then pushing at that time?
Yeah, exactly. The whole idea with it was that we were trying to say to people that you currently have a situation where, I'm going to use football just because that was the first place we started. If you play football on Saturday, Sunday, you're going to get mud, not only inside your car, but then inside the house, and you're going to get mud into places where it doesn't need to be. Take your Bootbuddy with you, either fill it up at the clubhouse or fill it up wherever, and then clean the boots outside the pitch. That way the mud goes straight back onto the pitch, which is good, and then, you know, and it saves you time as well. You can clean your boots in like a minute. You know, we're giving you that convenience.
Yeah, I think there was also like the other element of people actually never used to want to clean their boots. I know for a fact, just talking from personal experience, the first thing to do is take them off, shove them in a carry bag, tie a knot around it, and just leave it there till next time.
Absolutely.
And you know, I mean, as much as that was like a real problem, I think what the Bootbuddy did, besides, you know, kind of making it easier to clean the boots for, you know, everyone, it made the task a bit more fun. Because, you know, it was a kind of, oh well, do you know what, I can grab my Bootbuddy and just clean these off within like seconds. You know, it's not like it's going to take you, you know, a good 5 minutes. Your boots get waterlogged if you're running a tap.
Absolutely.
You know, it's.
Well, if you remember,
yeah, exactly.
If you remember when people first started buying it, the comments were coming back like, oh, we bought this as a bit of a gimmick. We bought this as a bit of a laugh. And then they'll come back and say, it actually worked. It does exactly what it said.
That's what you want, isn't it? It's that, you know, that kind of gimmicky gifts that actually solves a problem. And then people kind of realise that, look, this isn't a gimmicky gift, this actually solves a problem. So I think that's what you wanted to kind of change people's perspectives, and obviously it has over the years.
And that's where it changed. So the first year we were doing it, and, you know, people were, you know, people still are toxic in the comments.
It's just the same, but it's always there.
But yeah, so we don't really see much of that now because enough people have a Bootbuddy and enough people use a Bootbuddy for people to say, oh, actually that's that item that cleans boots, or it cleans, you know, your trainers, or it cleans whatever now. So that was a big change in to get people to understand that initially.
So we've obviously spoke about that time period before the whole Dragon's Den saga, but I'd obviously just love to touch on kind of Dragon's Den and kind of the behind the scenes of that and what actually goes on, and any funny stories you guys have got from that process. It would be really interesting to know.
I think, like, from our personal experience, it was quite unique because, so we drove to basically where they shoot Dragon's Den, which is
you jumped right ahead. You jumped right up until Dragon's Den. There's a whole lead up. What about the lead up to it?
Yeah, let's about the lead up.
What about the
Let's go lead up there. Let's go lead up.
So even the application process.
The process of like going
right.
on, and like, you know, did you guys get contacted, or did they contact you, or what? You know.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows that if you ring my phone, chances of me answering it the first time are nil. That's because I keep my phone on silent, right? Just one morning in January, like a no number rings me, and I've got like a policy, I just don't answer no number in case it's like a call centre.
Yeah.
I thought, solid. I answered it. And there's some woman down the line who goes, oh, I'm ringing from the BBC. And there's me thinking, right, okay, cool, what kind of prank, what kind of joke is someone playing on us, or is this like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're going to ask me to come on Ready Steady Cook. It cost me to do with the shop, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so she said, oh, I'm ringing from Dragon's Den. And I said, okay. I didn't believe her for the first 5-10 minutes. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then she said, we've seen your product online. We think you might potentially be a really good fit for the show. Would you be interested in auditioning?
Okay.
So I thought, do you know what? We've got nothing to really lose here. If we just go on the show and we get a bit of exposure, great. Obviously, the other side of it is, 1 second before you walk through the elevator doors, you think, oh shit, if they slate me, then this is gonna...
It's going to go the other way.
It could go completely the other way. So
Yeah.
there was a massive lead up. So from the first phone call to actually pitching in front of the Dragon was a 6-month process.
Wow. Okay.
6 months of due diligence. Are you who you say you are? It isn't like the old days where
You just get random people.
you could get random people. And the woman said that on the phone. She said that this is now a stringent process. We don't just let anyone on. No, we've got kind of I don't want to say it, but it's a bit of a policy of we can't just let people with wacky ideas come on.
Yeah.
People are going to come on there and say, okay, we want to sell vomit flavoured air fresheners, and we're going to sell 100 million of them.
Yeah.
No, do you know what I mean? They vet you, and So everything down to have you got a criminal record. So it's quite a stringent process, and then the auditioning process is even more like full on. You have to. I think we did 2 rounds of auditions, didn't we?
We did, yeah, 2 rounds. So it was first with the lady who contacted us.
Yeah.
And then that was weird because it was her in a room with just a camera, and she just went, okay, pitch. And that was it. There was no context, no background. We just had to pitch. And then we got the call to come back in and pitch for the team of producers, wasn't it?
So Natalie rang us up, and Natalie asked us to come and pitch. And I have to say a big shout out to Natalie, because if it wasn't for Natalie coached the hell out of us to make sure that we
That's cool.
to make sure we had the best chance, to make sure that we basically had the best chance of being selected by the producers. So, and that was Natalie's first time working on Dragon's Den.
Oh, okay.
She actually worked on some different programs. So
Big props to Natalie.
Natalie, honestly, I said to Natalie,
even on the day of the pitch, it was quite cool because after we'd obviously gone through and stuff, Natalie was there. I remember going to the back, and she was just like crying, like tears of joy. She was so happy. Like, it was quite a genuine, like kind of sense of pride. It was basically just like having another mum there. She was like really, really proud of us. So without her, we wouldn't have actually, first of all, gone through that process because she rang us, and second of all, we probably would have made a couple of more mistakes or things in the process. But she did kind of train us and coach us.
Well, valuations.
That was a big thing.
1 hour before we walked in and did our pitch, she sat us down and she said, okay, Peter is really hot on valuations this season, and he hates businesses that walk in there and start, talking about how they're worth 20 times their net profit, or 10 times their revenue or whatever. She said, make sure you go in there and give yourself a realistic valuation. So we actually changed our valuation before we went in there, off the back of what Natalie said to us.
Right.
And that helped because Peter didn't slate us on our valuation, which is really good. So, no, definitely, without Natalie's help, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how much of a success that whole pitch would have been.
Yeah. And what's that process like on the day? So you've gone through the auditions, you said you did 2 rounds of auditions, and then on the day, are you in a waiting room? Are you just, are you called a time, or is it you just waiting out the entire day? Or
It's pretty intense because obviously you have all the other candidates and things like that, but
are you all chatting to each other as well?
Candidates.
The kind of
The businesses, the candidates. That's a different show. That's The Apprentice.
That's the X Factor.
But you have all the other entrepreneurs and stuff waiting to pitch. They're better, right? I mean, at first everyone was chatting, But then afterwards it kind of just switches and everyone just is like, okay, well I've got to focus on my pitch, I've got to practice.
It's just awkward.
But it's so weird. It's so weird because you can't even go to the bathroom without having a chaperone because they take that whole thing of the dragons do not see you at any point or anyone.
And that's actually real then. So when you walk through, those doors, that is actually the first time.
Yeah. So if
you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. If I paint the scene, you walk into a studio. Everybody's stuff is downstairs. You've got your own little. When you pitch in the Dragon, you see they've got each business has got like a little table.
Yeah.
So when you walk through the studio, all the businesses have got their little pitches everywhere, right? And then that's when you see everyone, and you're like, oh hello, how you? Oh, that looks cool. That looks really nice. And then you get kind of ushered off into the green room, and then you just sit in the green room. Don't you remember? We sat in the green room from 6:30
in the morning.
In the morning, till about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's when we went on a pitch. So all of that time, once a business leaves the green room, you never see them again. They get ushered off through. It doesn't matter if they got a deal, don't get a deal. We don't know. We never ever see them again, and then that's it. They're just gone. So by the time we went on to go pitch, we're so nervous because we've been there 6:30. It's now 3:30. Yeah, exactly. We're just sitting there going, oh God, how did they do? How did they do? Are we even going to pitch today? And that's the other thing. There is no guarantee that you're going to pitch on that day.
Yeah.
So, and they say that all the way through the process. They're like, by the way, you might be here and your stuff might be there, and you might be microphoned up and have makeup on, but you're still not guaranteed to go pitch. So, and I think the reason for that is just because how long the pitches take. So,
and how long is that? That's not just 10 minutes you see.
No, on 2 hours.
Yeah, just under 2 hours.
Just under,
What is that process like? So you've got 2 hours worth of. Is that producers saying say that bit again, or is that very much just like an hour-long conversation and they just cut it down?
It is. You walk through. Literally, you walk through the elevator. Is the elevator? The lift, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. You come out the lift.
Yeah.
And then you've got all of the camera crew on the left-hand side.
Like
you're also basically pitching to because they're listening.
And also massive production lights. So when you see people sweating a lot, I think people always laugh at that, but those lights are no joke. They are hot. They make you very uncomfortable.
And then you're just getting grilled for an hour and 45, like we were, which was interesting and really, really difficult if you don't know your business like the back of your hand. And you do get asked questions which are completely there to just throw you off. And so if you don't know your numbers, then you have a really rough time because someone like Deborah is hot on numbers. Someone like Tuka may look at a business and look at the people a little bit and be a bit more forgiving. But someone like Deborah or Peter, don't go up there in there and fluff your numbers because they'll have you up. Yeah.
There'll be like scenarios of a question will be asked one way, and then later on they'll go back to that same topic but rephrase it just to see if you have consistency. Which is because at the end of the day they are parting with their own money. It is a real investment, so they have to make sure that they are happy with the business. But it's an intense pitch because when you stand there you get mentally tired of going over the same things again and again.
I'll tell you what, we have got a funny story actually, a really funny story. So you have to pitch in Manchester and we live in London. And us being us, because of that time, and even to this day, we've got the shops and everything else, we thought, okay, we are not going to take almost 2 days out away from the other businesses. We are going to leave in the evening and we'll get to Manchester and we'll pitch in the morning and we'll come back. So we set off from London for about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we've got the car stuffed with everything, it's got Bootbuddies, it's got our whatever,
paperwork.
And the AstroTurf that we use.
All that sort of stuff, right? And so we're sitting, we're just cruising all the way there, we're kind of just like, okay, we get into Manchester about 11 o'clock, I want to say. So we didn't actually leave London at 5.
In the evening,
we didn't leave London at 5 actually, we left later, we left at like 7 or something, so we ended up getting into Manchester really late, like almost like 10, 11 o'clock. And we kind of had this like realization. My mum is sitting in the back and she goes, "Oh, where's my bag? I can't see it." And we're like, "No, your bag's it's there. Just have a look." all the seats were folded down, so it was like you can see if something was missing. It wasn't like, okay, we park up, go check the boot, go check the whatever. No, all the seats are folded down. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. And Mum said, my bag is missing. I haven't got, it's just not here. And that bag contained my mum's clothes, my mum's makeup, all of the due diligence papers, so everything that was required for us to basically pitch that morning.
Because even without the paperwork, I think it's important to mention, they do not let you anywhere near that studio. If you haven't got the paperwork, they'll turn around and say, okay, well, tough, come back another day. And
no, you can't come back another day. It's like, if you haven't got the paperwork, it's tough, mate. You're finished, bye, later, reapply. Because they haven't got time. They've got so many candidates, so many businesses that are lined up that, if you haven't got the stuff, they will just send you packing, they don't care. So, it's like 11 o'clock. We are driving into Manchester and now we're just scrambling ideas. How are we going to get this suitcase to us in Manchester? We can't turn around and drive back because that's 4 hours that way, 4 hours this way. We're not going to make it. I rang up my sister and my sister was looking at like, can she jump on a train? Can she jump on a plane? Can she, what can we do? I even suggested to Mum, look, don't worry, the due diligence, maybe we can have that faxed over or emailed over, whatever. And then in the morning, we'll just go to like Asda or somewhere and we'll just get you some stuff. And she kicked off, like, no, I chose my outfit, I did all the paperwork, I'm not going to look as if I'm incompetent.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah,
which is
fair. So what ended up happening is I kind of came up with the idea of why don't we just Uber? We'll just Uber the suitcase. Yeah, we'll just Uber the bag. So basically, I put it into Uber, and the driver rings me up and he says, "Are you like drunk?" He thought I was drunk. He thought I made a mistake because I put in London to Manchester. I said no. I said you need to go to this address. Go, and a man is going to hand you a bag. I need you to bring this bag all the way to Manchester.
It's like a heist almost. It's like you give a bag, get there.
Yeah,
go.
But he did say to us, he was like, I need 5 minutes to think about it. He was like, I'll call you back. And we were so worried, we were like, oh no, he's going to think we're weirdos. He doesn't know what's in the bag.
No, that's what he said. He said, what's in the bag? And I said, listen, don't worry, it's nothing sinister, it's nothing bad. We're appearing on a TV program tomorrow. It's got all the paperwork in it. Just, if you can bring it, you're doing us a massive favour here, and obviously we'll tip you and all the rest of it. He said, no problem. Leave it with me, I'll let you know what's on there. So we get into the hotel, naturally we don't sleep. He arrives 4:30 in the morning, like an absolute hero, hands us over the bag, and then I think he just shipped straight back to London, that was it. Amazing, like, that was it. Between Natalie and this Uber driver. So it just goes to show you, no matter, even if you've got a great product, you need support of other people. It's a team effort. Sure. Even if they don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, there's so much was hanging on that suitcase. It's actually crazy. When you take a step back and you look at life, it's like all that mattered in that moment was that bag.
Yeah.
Like,
it cost, I think, just under £400, maybe 350 quid or £307.
But it's worth it.
It was worth it, and we kind of just decided that even if we don't get a deal or we get laughed off Dragon's Den, at least we gave ourselves the best shot, So, that was fine.
That's crazy. That's insane. And then kind of post Dragon's Den, coming off the show, obviously securing the investment, that must just have been a really crazy moment. You've like, we've done it. We've kind of done it. What was that process afterwards like? Because obviously, I think it's common knowledge that nobody seals the deal on that day. It is a process afterwards, and you obviously go through a lot of paperwork. So was it a long time afterwards before you actually signed off on the deals, or what was that kind of?
It was about 3.5 months. Due diligence,
which isn't too bad. It's a long time, but it's compared to like the previous 6 months of like paperwork and things like that we went through.
Yeah, but the thing is, I agree with you, but I also disagree in the fact that I agree that the Dragons have to do their own due diligence on the business. But we've just done all that due diligence with the BBC, so why is that not acceptable? Why do you have to go through a secondary process?
It's like they don't trust the BBC's judgment. They then do it themselves, which is...
I don't know, I think it's more a case of, okay, you guys are the BBC and maybe your due diligence, how thorough is it? I think it's more a case of that.
TV, this is fractional.
That was for TV to get in front of us. Now this is our money that we've got put in there, so how see like how honest are these guys, is there anything that comes up in the due diligence? And actually, as you guys know, as you see either online or on TV, 50% of the deals fall through.
Yeah.
Either through disagreement or, once you get a agreement put in front of you, you don't necessarily agree with all the things within the contract, or some people just are happy with the exposure, and then they change their minds, which I think is, I just think that's a little bit underhanded. If you're going on that and all you want is the exposure, then I don't know if I agree with that totally. I think because you're taking an opportunity away from a business that may really, really want to go there and really get a deal. So I'm on the fence a little bit with that one, actually, a little bit.
And then kind of coming out of that process, that seal of approval of being on Dragon's Den, being on the BBC, did that change anything, or was that kind of just, over the next couple of years?
Well, it did for you, didn't it? Your personal life.
How about the school?
Your personal life went through. Listen, don't let him lie to you. This guy before that, were you getting invited to all the places that you started getting invited to?
Well, not as much, because the thing is as well, at that age I was still quite young.
And what age was this, 16?
Yeah, this is 16. Yeah. So, it wasn't like...
You were 15 when we went on the show?
No, but afterwards, when I really started getting...
Oh, okay, fine, like a few months off.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So 50, okay, yeah, fine. Technically I was 15, yes, but in terms of going out, he's making it sound like I went to all these crazy parties.
Yeah, but did you not get invited to a club opening?
Yes.
So a club where you have to be 18 to get in, and he's invited to a club opening where you can't even get in.
Yeah, but
outside and bounce like that.
Yeah, no, in that sense, yes, things did slightly change.
Yeah.
But not really. No, for me, I just it was still the same thing. I did a couple of cool things. I will say, the interviews and things like that. That was really interesting. Went to different competitions and met other young entrepreneurs. Which is by far, I think, the best thing that I've experienced. And I think without the show and without going on to Dragon's Den, I probably wouldn't have had the same kind of opportunity to go meet those different people, do those different things. But in terms of my personal kind of life, nothing too grave.
Do you know what was really funny? We thought after the show, will it make you more, not famous, because obviously, you're not like you're Justin Bieber or something, but for a small period of time, will people recognise you, and how would people react to that?
That did happen. There were, still today, some people do go, oh, you do Bootbuddy, right? Or and I'm like, yeah, that's me, but not, do you know what it is? I think if I had gone to more shows, then maybe, but because I made a personal choice of not wanting to, because at the time I didn't really feel very comfortable being that much in the public eye, because there was a point where the local Tesco's near our shop, I would go there and there's random people who I don't even know just tapping me on the shoulder, coming up to me like, oh, hey, you saw it, this did it, and asking all these intrusive questions. And obviously at that young age, it's not a pleasant experience. But I think, definitely, if I did push that brand more myself, along with Bootbuddy.
And that's what we're saying, because, clearly, we're not celebrities, we're not even Z-listers or whatever. But for that small period of time after the show, you're in the public eye and people recognise you. And don't get me wrong, most of the people are very positive. But you just don't know.
Exactly. But the thing is as well, they know now your figures on TV. So if you guys start pushing yourselves to be, especially in your local area, you're pushing yourself, you're pushing this personal brand, it's like you do leave yourself open a little bit there, I suppose. Maybe people knowing all the figures that were on Dragon's Den, and knowing that investment has now been put into the business. So I suppose you did have to play it a little bit.
Do you know what the best thing was? I think. Do you know what the best thing was? That because we have shops and things like that, the local community would come up to us in the shop and be like, oh, you guys are made us proud, local boys on TV.
That's cool.
And that was really cool. And that's always, that's really nice because, we've
always kept that in our thing. We always, look back and say, well, no, that's where we come from, that's who we are. You know, for example, like the Pictures to Riches, they asked us, oh, where would you guys like to film? And we said, come to the shop, because that's who we are, that's where we come from, you know, that's our kind of, that's our background. It was quite nice, you know, because especially it gave us a chance to kind of show off our community and show off where we come from. It was a nice kind of touch.
Yeah, exactly. Because the community is so important to us. Without the community supporting us, then ultimately we wouldn't have been able to, even do Bootbuddy or go on and do what we do. So yeah.
And I think people as well love that the family business aspect of it as well. When people can see that you guys are just a family, a small team. It's again that part of the community. It's that's what everyone strives for with their family. So I think that's really nice. But I think with the whole family business kind of thing, how is it? What's it like working inside a family business? Is there the pros, cons? That would be really interesting to kind of find that.
Yeah, there's pros. Okay, so the pro is you're going to have a job whether you want one or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Don't come asking for a promotion or a raise.
Yeah. No, I think the cons are it's hard to switch off. Like as a family, because we're always talking about something business related.
Yeah.
I think it's everyone talks about having like a good balance where you can just switch off and relax. I think when you're with your family and you're always together 24/7, you kind of morph into just constantly talking about business or talking about, oh, we should do this next.
Yeah,
that would be cool to do.
Yeah. So even on you go out for a meal, you're probably still talking about because that is the common subject, isn't it? That's even though it's work, that's the common subject. So
well, it's the one time. It's probably like the one time we get to sit down and catch up. And we're not really going to catch up about like Netflix or Amazon or something. We're going to catch up about, okay, what's going on, how's this going, how's that going, what should we be doing, can we improve this, or actually we need to do works over here or whatever. So it's interesting. Being a family business, it's cool as long as you all get on. Because we know family businesses where it turns bitter, but we're all very, very close. We're always having, a laugh at one another's expense. So it's all
brotherly banter as well.
But I think that's key though. If you can't have a laugh, then that's when I think it becomes very bitter because people start holding things in and it becomes a bit hostile. I think you need to be able to just have a joke and a laugh, not take everything too seriously.
For sure.
I don't know if you think that's.
Yeah, no, this is a great time for me to bring up some of the things I'm unhappy with actually.
Yeah.
So,
here we go. Pulls out a list from his pocket.
I compiled this one earlier.
How long have we got for this podcast? Because I've got a list.
This is There's 10 parts to this podcast.
Sure. So I think now we'll just touch on more of the business side of Bootbuddy. And what I'd love to know is kind of the difference between the Europe market and the US market. So obviously, what are the major differences between marketing in EU versus US, do you think?
Yeah, that's a massive question.
Big question.
Even the EU, really, I would even go a lot more niche and go UK.
Okay.
So, in the UK, it's our home territory. We understand, the lingo. We understand different parts of the UK because it's not that big. So we understand all the nuances, and we can make jokes, and we can make certain skits, or we can make our marketing quite relevant to different parts of the UK really easily. Now, if we go over to the US, for example, some people say the USA isn't really a country. It's like 50 states, so it's 50 countries, right?
Yeah. They're big enough to be countries, aren't they, the states?
Yeah,
exactly. So just taking the USA as a whole isn't really the right approach. Going in the UK and taking a bit of a blanket approach, easy enough, but simply doing what you do in the UK and then taking it over to the USA doesn't really translate so well. One thing I've noticed is things that do really well in the US seem to translate a lot easier over into the UK rather than the other way around.
So saying if something did incredibly well in the US, it would do 100 times better in the UK. So that's not 100 times, but so
I think it would have an easier transition to success.
Go from US to UK, then UK to US.
Yeah, definitely, because if you conquered the US market, then that's a huge milestone, and then but to go in and try and conquer the US market is such a big challenge. So many different things and factors play into it. If you talk about retail, for example, so many different retailers in so many different states. How can you service those retailers, first of all? Second of all, if you're talking from a digital marketing standpoint, again, because the US is so big, everything is so expensive, everything is twice as expensive. So you have to be very careful and just think very in a calculated way. If you can pick out like a state, for example, that might be a good way to go. So we're not there yet, we haven't cracked that market just yet, but you know, we're working on it, we're trying our best, and it seems to be one of those things that, you know, you have to go through a lot of trial and error until you get through to the success in the US.
And then how long do you think it's took for you guys now to kind of feel like you've kind of cracked the UK almost? Not cracked the UK in a business perspective,
yeah.
but from kind of understanding the market.
From understanding.
Yeah, so not in the business perspective, but just kind of, you know, just getting to grips with how, you know, the UK works with regards to seeing ads, with regards to, you know, kind of repeat purchases, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think in the UK, again, because it's our home territory, we are the people, we are British, you know, we understand what most British people are into, so we can tailor the ads in that way and tailor our content. So that's not been too difficult to understand what us Brits want.
Yeah.
Are there any kind of specific nuances that we found marketing to the Brits? I think coronavirus, when we went through lockdown, that was a big thing because the season got shut down. The season got the sports season got shut down 10 weeks early or 8 weeks earlier than it should have. So then that was a challenge. It was like, okay, what are we doing? And now we're Brits turn into like the walkers of the world basically during lockdown. So we basically started focusing in on that, you know, because for 8 weeks it was the season's finished. So what do we do? You know, e-commerce was busy during that time, but for us it was a bit like, okay, no one's allowed outside, and we kind of need you to be outside, right? So as soon as people started coming back outside, we tailored it towards what people were doing. So yeah, that was an interesting time. But in terms of the US, yeah, actually never really spoke about that, did we?
Yeah, but that's the next thing. So
Yeah.
for, you know, just kind of state by state on that kind of level, that's what.
Yeah.
So obviously on the table as well, we have a range of the Bootbuddy lineup so far. So we've got obviously here Sizzlebuddy. We've got Bootbuddy. Is that 2.0? Or is that just the one?
Yeah, 2.0.
Yeah. We've got some other 2.0s, Poor Buddy, and obviously the Bootbuddy bag. So all these different products, they've obviously stemmed just from that Bootbuddy. What was the kind of thinking with regards to going into different, you know, niches, different territories, different markets, you know, with these different products?
Yeah, I think it's listening to our customers. So Poor Buddy is a really good example of us listening to our customers, whereby our customers will buy a Bootbuddy and say, hey, do you make something for pets? Do you make something for dogs? And we go, okay, well, we can. So we made a few, tested them, and they work really well. Now, the idea with the Poor Buddy, it isn't to clean an entire muddy dog. It is simply for the poor. You know, everyday muddy walks, everyday kind of stopping like bacteria or dirt coming back inside the house. That's what that's for. And you know, our customers love it, which is really great. Because if they didn't, they're very honest. You know, like I said about the comments and the feedback earlier. So that was interesting.
And how many comments does it take for you guys to really kind of listen and kind of take that on board? Because if it's just one and two, you're like, oh yeah, that's a nice idea, but how many kind of comments did it take, and how many people did it say, you know, did it take for Poor Buddy to come off the ground? Because obviously there's like one or two dog people and they think, oh yeah, this will work well on boards. How much kind of, you know, encouragement did you guys even make that? Like, was that?
Daily, we probably saw.
It's hard to quantify it. I think it's kind of
just started to build up almost.
Yeah, especially with Poor Buddy, there was a point where people who, you know, either we were selling the products to like our customers or people that we knew that we would see, you know, out and about, they would always be like, do you know what? I'd love one for my dog. I'd love one for my dog. Or people would be like, do you know what? There's nothing for my dog that can, you know, when we go out for walks, you know, I can't use something to clean my dog, but I can use the Bootbuddy to clean my shoes. So it's kind of that natural crossover of people being so happy with the way the Bootbuddy works, and then going, oh, do you know what if you could have something for this? And then us listening to that and going, do you know what, let's try it.
And on my end, in the early days, I used to do all the comment management, I used to do all the customer service. So I would see it in the emails, I would see it on our ads, and I would see it, where customers were saying, oh, we'd love something like this for my dogs. And I would say to the customers, okay, the Bootbuddy might be, the bristle might be too stiff for your dog's paws. So that's why after probably seeing on average 6 or 7 people a day over a consecutive period.
Okay, so that's really kind of built.
Yeah. So after about maybe 2-3 months of seeing that every day, we thought, okay, well, let's give it a go. Let's see. We didn't just simply go and change the bristles. We made sure that we had to do a lot of testing around, are they soft enough, are they okay for dogs' paws? Does enough water come out? Do we need to change that? What about what will we do at the back? So we made that into a comb, so you can kind of use it to take out any debris or things that are stuck in the dog's fur.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a case of, okay, cool, let's just change the bristles and get a product out there and start selling it. It was, okay, customers are asking for something. How can we make this really fit for person? How can we make it fit for purpose and go through that process of creating a product that solves a problem? Because one thing that we're against, we don't just launch things for the sake of making money. It's not.
Of course.
I think if you do that, then you're going to struggle to sell it. It has to solve an issue, or it has to have some real purpose. So that's why it wasn't something that we launched within like 3 months, 4 months. It took quite a lot of time before we ended up bringing the product out.
And the same process with Bootbuddy. I mean, obviously, I've seen this come to life from the ground up, and this has been really interesting to see. I mean, there's been so much kind of forward planning with this, and for it to now actually be here. What's the process been like?
That again, we have to say, the shops come from the shops. So I was speaking to our designers. I was kind of we were just spitballing ideas. I think, do you know what? Can we adapt this to make a cleaner grill? And they were like, yeah, but come on, can you fill me in? What are you thinking about? I said, okay, well, here's the problem. You cook steak or chicken on a grill, and the meat gets stuck to the grill, right? And it's annoying because then it becomes charred up and you don't want to clean the grill. Can we modify and change the Bootbuddy into a product that can clean the grill and make life easier, basically? So we had some samples mocked up, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to hand them straight to my dad. He'll use them in the shop, and if the feedback is good, then we know we've got something. Because my dad does not hold back. If something is rubbish, he will say straight. He will say, that's a crap product, don't go with it. He came back to me and was like, nah, that's a good product, that's really cool, we love it, we really love this product. So naturally, we just thought, okay, let's just run with it, let's give it a go. We ordered a few thousand pieces to start. Really happy to say we pre-sold all of them, which is really great. And feedback again on this product has been, it's been really good. People have asked us, why did you name it Sizzle Buddy? Why didn't you call it Barbecue Buddy? Why didn't you call it Grill Buddy? And I'm just like, that name's taken, it's been taken for so long, so Sizzle Buddy is the name. And I think it suits it really nicely.
It does. But you know what always intrigues me is it's almost like, you guys own like fast food shops. It's like, this product should probably have been first before Bootbuddy.
Yeah.
And it's like almost come full circle back round. It's like, that always makes me laugh, but it's, again, you had that testing period, you had that literally, you have that platform to test it out, so that must be
which was really lucky because the way those guys in the shop use it, that's industrial use.
They don't hold that.
Literally every single day.
Yeah, so if it survives their hands, then it will survive kind of more general use and more domestic use rather than sort of industrial use. So I was really, really happy with that because. Yeah, just because it's a great product and it does exactly that. It solves a solution, it solves a problem for customers, and that problem is we don't like cleaning the grill, but we like having a barbecue. So one of the best reviews we got was a lady came back and said, this product encourages me to barbecue more often.
That's what you want.
So in my eyes, given everything that's happened during the pandemic and you're not able to see your family, your friends, in a small way, if this can encourage you to barbecue more often, and barbecues mean one thing, family and friends, right?
Sure.
Then great, fantastic. That's a win for us.
That's really interesting. And then kind of, further down the line, we're looking to go into more different, kind of niches and different kinds of things, sports, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Products,
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've got a pipeline of products for
Amazing.
sure, and a pipeline of ideas.
The thing we have is we always have a lot of ideas, and we have to slow down and pick which one to do
Take time,
next.
next one.
It's always.
But it's good that you have that, like, you know, I presume you've got, say, 5, 10 different ones that you want to do in the future. But to always have, you know, something ready to go and the next one ready to go, I think that's a very, you know, well-structured plan, to be honest with you. So that's super interesting. And then kind of, you know, going forward, what's like, let's say 5 to 10 year plan, even shorter than that? What do we reckon?
You go first. So is this our
So you can-
our personal?
Yeah, so you can be both personal and then maybe joint from a business perspective.
I think personal for me. I mean, I'm starting 3rd year of university this year.
Cool.
So once I've graduated and all that good stuff, just to open up a couple of other businesses. I mean, I love watches. That's like my passion. So I do want to open up a kind of a product for watches. Obviously, I can't say too much yet, but that's kind of one thing I want to do. And then definitely open up my own watch brand. I think that would be something I really like because I've always been fascinated about like movements of watches and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, definitely just keep on opening up as many businesses that, you know, actually are products and services that I genuinely believe in, not just kind of, you know, getting things in and just flipping them. Yeah, it's stuff that I actually really believe in and, you know, want to push to people and make either, you know, give them something that they'll enjoy as a product or something that will make their life easier. That's what I see myself doing in the next like 5 to 10 years. But yeah.
That's noble. You said all the right words. No, for me, it's continuing to grow our business, grow the brand, and one of the main reasons I want to do that is so that we can help entrepreneurs or help small businesses. You know, one of my long-term goals is to help small business owners scale up their businesses without giving away equity.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can help business owners do that, because really, one thing I've noticed, I speak to a lot of other investments, a lot of startups, and they tend to give away equity within their business simply because they don't have the know-how. I want to basically develop a service or some kind of mentoring system whereby we can help businesses scale up, get the right resource that they need without necessarily giving up equity. And more often than not, it's not all about the money, it's about having the right people doing the right positions, you know, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it's manufacturing. So for me, the long-term goal in the next 5 to 10 years is continuing to build our own business and potentially some other businesses, and then helping small businesses as well. Because yeah, I love small businesses. I love helping as many people as I can. You know, I would help more if I had more free time, but you know, that's the goal of the next 5 to 10 years for sure.
It's nice as well with that because it's again kind of giving back to, you know, the small business community and kind of, you know, where you guys started from and it's, you know, still going through that pathway. So that's like a really kind of interesting position.
Yeah, because one thing I have to say about small business owners are a lot smarter than they give themselves credit for.
Okay.
Because if you're inside a small business, you have to be the marketing person. You
Jack
have to
of
be
all
proud.
trades.
You have to be jack of all trades.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed with people who are in big blue chip businesses is they're very clever people. They're very smart, but they're very specialised. They know their one section of the business. Now I'm generalising massively here, but this is from what I've seen. But when you're a small business owner, they know a lot of things, but they don't necessarily believe in themselves or have that confidence, the same confidence somebody in a blue chip company might have. So it's, you know, how can we just inspire young entrepreneurs or small business owners in general just to basically have a bit more confidence in themselves and to believe in themselves more and know that, yeah, you are a lot smarter than you're giving yourself credit for, basically.
I think that's really nice. It rounds up my kind of last topic really nicely. So my last topic would be kind of, you know, you've got one tip each to young entrepreneurs or young business owners or small business owners. You've got one sentence. What would that be from each of you? On the spot. I know it's on the spot, but one sentence. That's the best.
That's going to be hard, isn't it?
Don't do something unless you truly believe in it.
I like it.
That would be my tip.
I'm going to say something, hopefully it doesn't sound cliche, but just continue to learn. You never ever know everything, so always be learning.
Is that
You know,
one sentence?
Yeah, but just continue to learn.
Well,
Just always continue to educate yourself and always continue to learn, because and that's my one tip, but just to add a little caveat to that, because things are changing at such a fast pace, you need to be continuously learning, you know. Just look at something like TikTok. 2 years ago, TikTok wasn't a thing, and now it's a massive thing. You know, who would have predicted that? But TikTok's been going for years and years and years, and some people were creators on TikTok for ages, and so they had a foot forward, foot in the right direction.
But you know what's crazy as well? The people who were creating on Musical.ly, what it was called in 2016,
Yeah.
90% of them aren't creating anymore because they didn't move with the times, they didn't constantly learn, they thought they were safe. They didn't learn with the new trends, they didn't learn about shortening your videos, they didn't learn about engaging from the start.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it. It's been super insightful, and I think for everyone at home as well. So
Thank you.
And thank you
very much.
for all the questions. You know, it's been quite
Absolutely.
interesting.
for sure.
Yeah.
Nice one, guys.
All right, cheers, you.
Thank you very
Top man.
much.